It started as a sentence in my notes app. Some women are scaffolding. Some just stand on you until the view is good enough. I didn't think of her when I wrote it. Not consciously. It was one of those 2 a.m. scribbles, the kind you're sure is genius until you read it with swollen eyes and morning breath. I almost deleted it. Then I almost sent it to her. We were always sending each other scraps. Voice notes that cut off mid-sentence, TikToks we both claimed were too cringe, but saved anyway, screenshots of DMs we didn't know how to answer. We shared drafts like secrets, underlined words, highlighted wounds. The kind of intimacy you don't always name because naming it makes it tremble. I sent her the poem 4 days later. Finished. Structured. Edited. Still a little raw. She replied in lowercase. Oh my God. This is your best one. I remember where I was when I read that. Kneeling on my kitchen floor, scraping quinoa out of the stove burner, phone wedged between my shoulder and ear while my friend Jade ranted about her boss again. I wasn't even fully listening, just trying to multitask healing and surviving. And then she posted it. On her Instagram, pink background, typewriter font, my name tagged once in a tiny corner. No context. No caption. No permission. I didn't even notice at first. Someone else sent it to me. A mutual. This is yours, right? She didn't credit you properly. I froze mid-scroll. The kind of freeze where your hands go cold but your chest goes hot. Where you feel like you've both been seen and erased at the same time. I waited. Assumed she'd text. Maybe say she got excited. Maybe say she thought tagging me was enough. Maybe say something. Nothing. So I sent her a voice note. It was short, too polite, the kind that ends with a laugh that tastes like blood. Hey, just saw you posted the poem. It means a lot that you love it, but could we talk about how it's being shared? No reply. Not even a scene. I watched her story again. Her profile picture, our photo from last October. Matching eyeliner. Matching rage. We used to joke that we met in the comments section of a feminist meme account, which was kind of true. We bonded over a post about unpaid emotional labor and spiral texted each other for a week straight. Our first IRL hangout lasted 7 hours. We finished each other's frustrations. She was the first person who didn't flinch when I cried while angry. She used to say we were co-authors of our own healing. I waited 2 days. Then she blocked me. Just like that. No drama. No paragraph. Just gone. I found out when I tried to tag her in something unrelated. A tweet about lavender and rage and soft power. Her handle didn't show up. My throat tightened like I'd swallowed something I wasn't supposed to name. I searched her for my alt. Still there. Still posting. Still smiling. The poem was gone. As if she never touched it. As if she never touched me. I didn't cry. Not at first. Instead, I vacuumed every room in my apartment. Twice. Rearranged the spice rack alphabetically. Called my mom. Lied about why I sounded weird. It wasn't grief exactly. It was being edited out of a paragraph you helped write. I thought maybe someone would notice. We had a group chat, rage_but_cute, half shitposting, half solidarity. Started during lockdown, bloomed through protests, breakup rants, article links, and endless hot takes. There were 7 of us. Sometimes more. Sometimes less. I don't remember who added who anymore. It felt organic. Feminist kismet. She and I were the loudest ones there. She always posted the best reaction memes. I always added the voice notes with trembling throat honesty. She once called me the emotional backbone of the group. I saved the screenshot. After she blocked me, I scrolled the chat obsessively, looking for some ripple. Some clue. Nothing. Just, Jade, OMG, this oat milk tastes like betrayal. Maya, capitalism got to you, girl skull. No one said my name. No one said hers. I didn't even know if she left the chat or muted it or what. Her last message was still there, a tweet about self-regulation and power. No one reacted to it. I sent a meme. Something neutral. A frog in a cowboy hat saying, I forgive, but I never forget. Y'all be safe though. One emoji react. Ahaha. I deleted it 3 minutes later. I wish someone had asked. I wish I'd said something. I wish I hadn't cared that much. But the chat got quieter. Not silent. Just shallow. Like everyone knew someone had drowned, but no one wanted to mention the water. It's a particular kind of pain, the slow ghosting of a group. Not loud enough to be grieved, not cruel enough to be condemned. Just less. Less replies. Less checking in. Less OMG same. Like our shared feminism started buffering. Was I being paranoid? Was I the drama? I spiraled between I was hurt and I'm too much at least 10 times a day. I kept reading the last messages we exchanged before the poem. Her, when are you finishing that piece about mothers? Me, still stuck. The part about my mom feels too raw. Her, maybe that's why you need to write it. It felt like intimacy at the time. Now I wasn't sure if it was pressure, or projection, or just her being a better editor than friend. I opened Instagram again. Searched her name. Blocked. I stared at the user not found like it owed me something. You don't get closure when someone leaves kindly. When there's no screaming match. No weaponized text. No betrayal that even counts as betrayal. Just soft redirection. Quiet exit. Clean hands. I started rewriting the poem. Not because I wanted to, because I didn't want her to have the last version. I changed a line about scaffolding to one about mirrors. Then I changed it back. I thought about posting a new one. One clearly about her. Sharp, coded, elegant. But I didn't. Because that would be too obvious. Too much. Too female. Instead, I scrolled TikTok for 3 hours, ate cereal at 2 a.m., and whispered her name out loud just to hear how it felt in an empty room. It didn't echo. It just stopped. I started getting migraines again. Not the glamorous kind, no ice packs and dark rooms, no silk sleep masks and helpful texts. Just the slow, creeping kind. Pressure behind one eye. Jaw too tight. Shoulders curled like I was bracing for a punch I kept telling myself wouldn't come. I'd get dizzy in the shower. Forget why I opened a tab. Snap at the kettle for boiling too slow. The kind of grief that pretends it's unrelated. My therapist said, maybe it's not about her. I said, of course it's not. Then I cried the whole walk home. I stopped writing. Not on purpose. It just got slippery. I'd open a blank doc and feel my throat tighten. Words would show up like ghosts, full of shape, no weight. I'd write one line. Women are always rebuilding on ruins. Then I'd stare at it until I hated it. Until I hated me for writing it. It wasn't writer's block. It was something worse. Writer's silence. A mutiny of language. I tried journaling again. Just for me. Just scribbles. But even that felt performative, like I was performing intimacy with myself for an imaginary audience who would never read it. Every sentence felt like a subtext I didn't want to analyze. And still, I thought about her. Not constantly, but like a muscle memory. Like how your body tenses before thunder, even if the sky's clear. I wondered if she was still writing. Still reposting infographics about boundaries. Still soft-blocking people who crossed invisible lines. I dreamed about her once. We were in a bookstore. She handed me a book with my name on it, but when I opened it, every page was blank. She said, I kept the good parts for myself. I woke up with a clenched jaw and my left hand asleep. I didn't tell anyone. Not because I didn't have people, but because I couldn't explain why this mattered so much. It wasn't a breakup. It wasn't betrayal. It wasn't abuse. It was losing the person who remembered your bad date story better than you did. The one who knew your I'm fine laugh. The one who sent you memes about trauma and called it healing. It was the echo of emotional safety. And here's the worst part. Part of me understood. Understood why she might have felt used. Why she might have seen herself in the poem. Why she might have decided I wasn't safe anymore. That's the ache no one talks about, when you don't blame her for leaving. You just wish you'd been worth the conversation. I wrote it like a fever. 4 pages in a Google document. No paragraph breaks. Just breathless, desperate clarity. I didn't even know what I was apologizing for. Not really. Maybe for sharing the poem. Maybe for writing it in the first place. Maybe for not seeing her in it until it was too late. It started with, I know you didn't ask for this, and ended with, but I miss the way we talked about rage. I didn't send it. I never even downloaded it. Instead, I left it open on my laptop for 3 days. Just in case. Like a digital candle at an altar I wasn't sure she prayed at anymore. I kept revisiting our old messages, searching for the pivot point. That moment, the fracture before the break. There was one I kept coming back to. Her. We don't have to bleed to be valid. Me. But isn't that what we were taught? To prove our pain? She heart reacted. But she never replied. I think that was the beginning. Sometimes I wonder if she thought I was using her. Not intentionally, but emotionally. Like I was gathering data for poems, harvesting her insights, and calling it collaboration. Feminism makes us think we're immune to extraction. But we still do it. In friendships. In healing spaces. In the way we ask each other to hold things we haven't finished processing ourselves. Maybe she was tired of being the scaffolding. Maybe I was too busy writing it down to notice. I told Maya, finally. Over coffee, in the kind of silence that invites confession. She didn't react how I expected. No outrage. No comfort. Just a quiet. Yeah, she's been distant with all of us lately. That made it worse. I wasn't special in the rupture. I wasn't even central to her absence. She had moved on. Or shed. Or outgrown. Whatever word makes it sound noble instead of cold. And I was still trying to reverse engineer my own erasure. I tried writing again that night. Not a poem. Just a list. Things I wanted to say but didn't. I didn't mean for it to sound like you. But maybe that's why it hit. I thought we were still safe. I was wrong. I hope you're not lonely. I am. I folded the list into a makeshift origami heart and burned it in the sink. It didn't feel like closure. Just content. Something I could use later. Months pass. Not dramatically. Not in chapters. Just quietly. Season by season. Status by status. Post by post. She doesn't come back. She doesn't unblock me. She doesn't reference the poem again. I stopped checking eventually. Not because I've healed. Because the checking started to feel like begging. Sometimes I see echoes of her in someone else's tweet, in a poem that uses the word tenderness too many times, in a scent that smells like the candle she gave me on my last birthday. I don't chase the memory anymore. But I don't shut the door on it either. I keep writing. Not constantly. Not easily. But it comes back. Slowly. Like thawing. Like a language I thought I forgot but never really did. I publish something. A new poem. Not about her. Not about her. Someone comments. This reminded me of someone I used to love. And I feel it, the ache curling inside the compliment. That quiet wound we all carry. The people who left without slamming the door. The ones who exited without names, without blame, without a final paragraph. I think about sending the poem to her. I don't. Instead, I walk to the bookstore we used to haunt. I sit on the same bench. I breathe like I'm allowed to. And I write something in my notes app. Some losses are libraries. You don't finish them. You just learn to stop checking them out. I never tell anyone what happened between us. Not fully. When people ask, I say, we drifted. It's easier then. She saw herself in my art and decided I was dangerous. It's easier then. I thought she was my safe place, but maybe she was just passing through. It's easier then. I still miss her. And I still don't know what I did. The story ends there. Or maybe it doesn't. Maybe it just folds into the next one. Maybe every woman I write about now is a little bit her. Maybe that's the truest kind of love, the kind that lingers in the margins. Not with revenge. Not with bitterness. But with memory. With careful, intentional remembering. The kind that doesn't demand return. Just recognition.